Hello, I'm Cleave Bourbon. Mark Tyson, Cleave Bourbon. Either way, Mark Tyson's my real name. I write under the pen name's Cleave Bourbon. I'm launching another pen name for more adult stuff named Beckett Blaze. But anyway, this is my book cover video. So this was actually requested by one of you guys. You wanted to know about the book covers, and to be honest, I've had a long, arduous journey with book covers. When I first started working on self-publishing some of my work back in the day, I'm trying to think, it was about 2014. I tried to make a lot of the book covers myself, just to save money, and just because back then it wasn't that big of a deal. It didn't seem like to have to make book covers. I don't know how to explain it. It was a lot. There was a lot of bad book covers. Let's put it that way, including my own. So when it started becoming more competitive, and I started looking at making an actual effort at selling books, it was pretty apparent that I needed better book covers. So I've done a couple of things. I'm going to show you a couple alternatives that you can do for your own book covers. We're going to go with a kind of an expensive version, kind of a middle budget version, and then kind of a low budget version. So I'm going to kind of look at all of that, and still have great videos, still have great book covers, just not breaking the bank. So there are some ways to do it. So if you have Photoshop skills and you know how to make a book cover, then you're golden, because you can make your own or whatever. But most of us, if you're like me, I try to learn that program, Photoshop. I have the free version, which is called GIMP, which is basically Photoshop Lite. I've got it, and I do a couple of things in that. And I made a couple of book covers that I thought looked pretty good, but I don't know. I still haven't mastered that, and it's very difficult to do. So I leave it up to the professionals. So what do you do when you need a book cover? Well, first of all, Mandy Lynn and who is a book cover artist, and Bethany Adazeta, who is an author that is friends together. They actually have a video out today talking about book covers. And one of the things that Mandy Lynn said was that a lot of times authors think that they want to have book covers the way they want them, the way they have it in their head. And it's not necessarily what's good for the book. And what she meant by that, I knew exactly. There's another YouTuber I like to watch. Her name is the Courtney Project. Her name is Courtney. She writes with another author. They write romance. They don't write fantasy. And she writes romance under Kennedy Fox, and then that's with a partner. And then herself, she writes romance under Lyra Parrish. Lyra Parrish. Anyway, so she's got, you can just look her up, the Courtney Project, here on YouTube, and go to her videos and look up cover reveal. What was I trying to say? Cover critique. Look at her cover critique videos. There's two of them that I know of, and one of them is of Bethany Adazeta's book covers. But anyway, she goes over it in great detail. I mean, if you have time, it's like an hour long or whatever. But she shows exactly what you need to do. You go to Amazon and you look at the book covers that are in your genre. Now, your goal is not to copy those book covers. You're looking at the bestsellers and what sells. Now, when people are looking for that genre, the genre you're writing in, and they go to that list of booksellers and they see that kind of cover, they're automatically going to associate with that genre, which is what I was running into a little bit with The Howling Path here, which is my first book in my epic fantasy. You can see the guys, the lower half of the guys here on the cover. It's more of a contemporary kind of fantasy cover. And the actual books are very much epic fantasy, kind of old school 80s, 90s kind of epic fantasy. So my modern cover with the two guys on it really didn't fit, or doesn't fit very well with the traditional kind of fantasy. Like when you pick up like I don't know, Lord Fowlsbane from Stephen R. Donaldson, or you pick up the Dragonlance series, or you pick up Wheel of Time or something from the 80s and early 90s. It's a completely different cover than what you're looking at in the fantasy genre now. If you went to Amazon today and you tried to evaluate them, this cover would be a little bit more modern. This one here. So the cover review I'm going to do today is I'm actually doing the second edition of my Epic Fantasy because I finished writing it and I'm doing the second edition. I'm changing it up a little bit. One of the things I'm doing is I'm rebranding it. So I've got new covers coming for it. The first cover is made. The first cover is, of course, the Harrowing Path. That's what I'm going to show you today. That's the cover reveal that I'm going to give you today, is the new Harrowing Path. And I'm going to show you how I did that and how I figured out what I needed for that book and what made it good. I'm going to talk about that here in just a moment. But I thought about maybe making this into 2 videos because there's a lot that I'm going to cover today. And I like my videos to be around 30 minutes, no longer than 30 minutes. So if we get close to that mark, I'm going to probably turn this into 2 videos. But because this is a heavy subject to talk about, as far as especially if you're self-publishing, because your cover is a major part of your book. The cover is what's going to draw your prospective readers to buy your book. That and the blurb. The blurb is the whatever's on the back. They'll pick up. Usually they'll look at the cover and see, oh, this is a great cover, and then they'll look at the back and read the back and see what it's about. And those 2 things sell your book. So you hear the old saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover." Well, absolutely, people judge books by the cover. That old saying doesn't hold up anymore. They do judge your book by the cover. So first thing I'm going to show you here, and I hope that this shares okay, like it's supposed to, but the Harrowing Path that you just saw up there. Let me share screen here. That was there we go. All right, that was made by Sanju Gombar. Now, she says book cover designed by Gombar Sanja. So this makes me think that I've been calling her the wrong name the whole time, maybe because I call her Sanja because that sounds like a first name to me, and Gombar sounds like a last name. So she is Serbian, and this is so maybe I've been calling her the wrong name this whole time. I don't know. Anyway, she's the one that did all my Tournament of Mages books too, Red Mage, Blue Mage, and so forth. So I contacted her last night because I'm getting about ready to launch Green Mage, which is the 4th book in the series. Well, the 5th book, Gray Mage, back when I commissioned her to do my covers, we did 1 through 4, and I had them partially written. Well, I had all of them written pretty much, and I had Green Mage partially written, but I did have a blurb for it, meaning I had the back matter. Not the back matter, but the back cover. I had that wording pretty much done. It's kind of long, and it's long if you look at the book. I'm just leaving it the way it is. But anyway, the point is, I always get my covers made in ebook and print book because I do both. So it costs a little bit more to do that, but I don't just get the ebook cover. I get both. Now you can get just the ebook cover and then go to like Amazon, and you can add the spine and the back with their cover maker, and you can get one that's passable. It's okay, but when your cover artist does it, they'll put a really cool spine, and they'll put the back of the book will match the front. It'll look a lot better. So anyway, these are some of the covers she makes. Now back in 2020, I believe, when I was getting all my covers made, she's made about 15 covers for me. It costs to get both those files, to get both. This is unlimited revisions. Most of these artists will do unlimited revisions, meaning that if you get a proof copy and you don't like it and you want to change it, they usually change it. Or some will have a limited version. They'll have I'll make 3 changes or whatever, and then that's it. They'll start charging you more. But the site that I'm going to show you here in just a moment, she has unlimited revisions. But anyway, so I got the first 4, and then she gave me the front covers, the ebook covers for books 5, 6, and 7, the last 3. But I didn't have any blurbs or anything done because I kind of had them sort of outlined, but I didn't have any information on that. So I contacted her last night so we can get Gray Mage finished. I gave her the blurb and the page count so she can make the spine and the back cover for Gray Mage. And then the last two, White Mage, and then the final book. I found out that she was pregnant, and she is pregnant, and she's about to have a baby at the end of May. So she said, if you give them to me quickly, the ones that you're going to release probably in the summer, I can go ahead and get those done. So I went ahead last night and finished the blurb for Gray Mage, and so I just sent her a few moments ago, so with the page count. So I'm probably going to get that done because that book will probably be released in the summer. So what I'm trying to get here is, if you're thinking, well, we don't really care about your books or what you're about to launch or whatever. Well, I'm trying to tell you, there's things that come up. You got to look ahead. You got to think, okay, I'm going to release a book maybe in June. I need to work on the cover and all that stuff and get that finalized now. And come to find out, the cover artist that I'm using with Tournament of Mages is about to have a baby. So she's going to be unavailable until like August. So I'm going to have her do the next two books, get the back cover and spine done. And then I'm going to do the last book. I'm just not going to be released until after summer. So she can do that when she comes back from maternity leave. But I hope this all works here the way I want it to. But this is her website. It's at bookcoverforyou.com. Again, she's about to have a baby. So if you want to use her, if you think, oh, these are beautiful, and they really are, she really makes great covers. You're not going to be able to commission her until probably September of 2023. Now here's the pricing. It's a little expensive. Back when I did it 2020, I think $380 got me the print book and the ebook. And she gives you a couple of extras. She'll give you a couple of things. She'll throw in some stuff like a 3D mock-up and some other stuff. Book cover, or not book cover, bookmark, a bookmark, which is really cool. And I think it was like $300 or $380 for both of those back then, and it's probably gone up with inflation to $400. But you only have to have half of it. You give half of it up front, so you pay her $200, and then when she gets it done, you pay the other $200. So, and it usually takes her a little while, because she takes her time and she does a really great job. So she's not like turning around like one day or anything like that, like some of the others are. But anyway, so that's the kind of more expensive versions. Now she does really great work, and she does have that's her portfolio. She does have pre-made covers. These are things that she's made for people. They're incredible, and you can see the style. And then you can go on Amazon and you can look at stuff. So there's like a traditional fantasy kind of stuff. It's beautiful the way she did it with the blue and green and blue and red dragon and these colors. Now there's mine right there. There's one of mine. There's Green Mage Metamorphosis right there. So you can see it kind of fits in with these. Now my Mage series isn't necessarily traditional epic fantasy, so it's okay to have these covers. If as you can see, it fits in really well with the rest of these cover designs, and that's one of the better ones too. The Green Mage is a beautiful cover. That's me anyway. So I wonder if she has any more of me in here, but I don't know. I don't see any more. But anyway, that's cool. I didn't know she had that in her portfolio, but that's really cool. There's my book, one of my books. All right. So anyway, she also has, like a lot of these artists, they'll make some pre-made covers that they'll be inspired by something, and they'll make some of these pre-made, and you're like, oh wow, pre-made. And so these are things that you can buy, and it's still a little bit more, still kind of expensive, but as you can see, it's cheaper than well, it's about the same price as if you had her make one. So you can look through here and you can see stuff and you go, okay, cool, I like that. And so I'm going to have my book's title and my name put on it, and you can do that certainly. And she'll, here's some of the cheaper versions, and so sometimes that's a good way to do it. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to show you next is I was looking through that one time, and I just happened to come across this pre-made cover. Now this is actually somebody's cover. Now this is back when she had as a pre-made, and I thought that's Black Mage. That's my Black Mage. That's exactly what I wanted to look like. Well, she actually sold this cover before I got to her. So I was like, yeah, but I like that. And she wouldn't give it to me. I said, well, I want you to copy that cover. And she wouldn't copy it. But what she did is she made because a lot of these artists, they don't, once they use something, they don't want to use it again. But what she did was she did an inspired by, and she made my Black Mage cover. There's the Dark Witch, and there's my Black Mage. I told her I wanted that style, and so she did. She made my Black Mage cover. Although the dress in my Black Mage tends to be looks a little bit more modern, but like I said, my Tournament of Mages covers, Tournament of Mages books aren't epic fantasy. They're not really urban fantasy. They're kind of their own genre of fantasy. They are a fantasy, so it's okay to have that style of dress. It's fine. So anyway, so she's inspired by. So they do really cool stuff for you. They'll do stuff if you ask them and go through that. But I want that other cover, but I couldn't. But she did a great job on inspired by her own work. So anyway, that's the kind of the upper tier. Now there is more of an upper tier than that. You can actually have someone that will draw or make a cover from scratch that's to your perfect specifications, but they cost like, and then you can find them on places like Fiverr, but they cost like $800 to $1,000 per cover. So if you have that kind of money to spend on a cover, you can have a cover made where all the artwork on it and everything is hand drawn specifically for your book. The characters are specifically the way you wanted your characters, portrayed and drawn and all that stuff. But man, if you have $800 to $1,000, go for it. It's cool. It's cool to have covers like that. But otherwise, I would consider Sanja being pretty upper tier as far as covers. She makes beautiful covers, but I would consider her to be a little pricey. I had her making a lot of covers back in 2020 when I wanted to get all these out of the way, and for the series, because I make series, I wanted to do them all pretty much at once, and that's why I ended up with 3 covers that don't have the print stuff on them, because I didn't have it at the time. I knew it was going to be in the series, but I didn't know what was going to. I didn't have a blurb. I didn't know what the books were going to be about quite yet. So, but I did have her go ahead and make the covers anyway, because I wanted it all match, which is something you should consider. Now, the second version of a cover is I just showed you the pre-made covers that Sanja does. You can look at those and you can buy those, and she'll put your name on them and all that kind of stuff. Well, there's another website that I've used a couple of times because I didn't have time to wait for an artist or a cover artist or someone to go through Photoshop and put a cover together. And I just kind of wanted to throw something together. So I've used this website, which is a really cool website. And I'm not affiliated with any of these websites. I don't get any kickbacks. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I don't get any kickbacks, or I don't have any affiliate links to them or anything like that. I don't make any money from them by recommending them. These are just things that I've come across. If you know me and you've been following this channel for a while, I'm showing you stuff from the cuff. I'm showing you stuff that I've gone through myself, and I'm just kind of a lot of times when authors will recommend something, they'll say, "Yeah, go here." They're either have an affiliate link, or they're getting a kickback or something. I'm not getting any of that. I'm just showing you what I've done, what I've come across that's helped. This website is really cool. Now, this is Book Cover Zone. Now, you can join this for free. You click on this button here and you make an account. There's my account, Cleave Bourbon, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go ahead and log in. And what's cool about this is these are pre-made covers. All these are pre-made. So if you go over to, let's say my genre is fantasy, go in there, it's going to come up with a lot of fantasy books. Now, these are all books that are pre-made. So they're fake titles and fake names. Like here's they're basically art from these art websites like I almost want to say Photoshop. That's not it. Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, places like that have pictures, and you type in, get a picture, and you get the rights to it. Basically, they take stuff like that. Like I recognize this here being one of those from one of those websites, those websites like Shutterstock or something. And they make book covers out of them, fantasy book covers. They make, there's all sorts of genres that they make out of them. Now, what's cool about this particular site is, like, let's click on this one. they're reasonably priced for a book cover, about $89, and you're going to be able to get quite a bit of what do they call it? Um, extras with that. And down here, if you pay a little bit more extra, 118 or whatever, you're going to get social media banners, and you can spend $158 on this and you get the book e-cover plus the print. Now, this is kind of getting to the expensive side, but it's still about half the price. When you talk about print cover, e-cover, and print cover and all that, it's still about half the cost of like someone like Sanja Gombar. But what's cool about this site, now watch this. You hit customize here. All right, preparing the selected trim size. Okay, it's gonna pop it up here. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna bring up the book. I don't want to make this video too long, but it's gonna bring up the book, and you can put in your information, like your book name, your author name. It's got several spaces to put things like subtitles. If you have you want to say USA bestseller or whatever, things like that, you can put in there as well. And it usually doesn't take this long to render. There it goes. All right. So let's just call it the Monster Comes Home. A terrible title, but I'm gonna put that in. I'm Cleave Bourbon. So you can type this in. Now you're not buying anything here. This is just, you're able to see what it looks like. I'm without having to buy it. It's just a mock-up. So we don't have any subtitle. We don't have any, USA bestseller list. You can say award-winning author, whatever. Now, genre, I never use the genre, because if you have to tell them what the genre is without them looking at it, if they can't look at a dragon at night and realize this is fantasy, then something's wrong. If you have to actually put the genre name, then you're not doing it right. You shouldn't have to put the genre name, because your book should convey your genre. If you have a couple and they're kissing, or there's a guy without a shirt and a girl touch him and look at him like, "Oh, you're beautiful," you're probably going to know that's romance. If you see a dragon in the night, you're probably going to know that's fantasy. If you see a spaceship flying by a planet, you know that's going to be science fiction. I mean, come on, you don't have to put the genre science fiction, or unless you're doing like a really niche subgenre like cyberpunk or like gas lamp fantasy or something, I wouldn't even put the genre. All right, so I just typed this in just to show you, but the Monster Comes Home, Cleave Bourbon. See it, it shows you, and it puts like a thing in the back, so that you don't steal it. But it shows you what it looked like with your information, which is really cool. So I bought a couple of these before, and pop in here and look at them. So all these 5 here, I own all these. And I've got them rendered here with custom. I've not used these. I just kind of looked at them to see if I'd like them or not. The only one I've used is the Seventh God here, and it's going to be one of the prequels for Tournament of Mages. Now it's an archive copy. After 30 days, it's going to revert back to this. But I own these, so I can always come back in and customize this again and make it look however I want it. This is a good website to go to if you're like a science fiction author and you're writing military science fiction, like the Star Trek-y kind of stuff, and you want something like this where it's you have a spaceship flying by a planet, which is a hallmark of a lot of the military space books. Then this is perfect for you, because it's not gonna be that expensive, and you can get whatever you need right here. Now, that's a pretty good alternative, and this website's really cool, and you can play around with it. You can go and look at all sorts of different covers. The only problem with this website is it's really difficult. I mean, you can change all the colors in the book. You can change the color of the fonts. So, in other words, you could make a series out of this. But the only bad thing is there's not really a lot of branded book covers there. So, meaning that if you got a series of like 4 books, it's going to be really hard to brand all 4 of those covers to look like they're the same series. You can change colors and stuff like that, but that's kind of fallen out of favor, where you just take one cover and you change the color of it, and it's still the same picture and everything. It's just one's green and one's blue and one's red or whatever. and they have different titles. That's not really that great. I wouldn't do that. So what's the alternative? Well, if you want to combine the first thing that I talked about, now the quality is going to be really good with someone like Sanja, that charges $300-400. That's cool. She's going to give you a lot of extras as well. There's some perks to the pre-made. You don't have to wait on them for one. You customize it, you get it, you print it off, or you download it, and you're done. Your cover's ready to go. You got it, that quick. So there's a little bit of convenience there. But that costs about, to do the ebook and the print costs like I said, like $118. So anyway, the third alternative, and the one that I'm using, I'm going to show you today, and I'm going to reveal the cover from, is not that one, is Fiverr. You can go to Fiverr and find pictures. Now, specifically who I use is Olivia Pro Design. Now, right now, she's super busy because she's had a hard time getting my revisions done. But anyway, I picked this here to show you. If you belong to Fiverr, now this over here, I will design a professional book or ebook cover. These are just kind of regular book covers. And if you look, it starts at $5. So this one here, that's if you have like a, excuse me, if you have like a background picture that you're using, or you try to make your own cover like I did. Let me take a drink of my coffee here. Like I did, and you kind of have some stuff for her doing. You have like you just want like a really fancy, cool font and stuff like that. Then you can get this done for like $5 or $15 or $25. What's cool about this one, the premium cover, you can have this done here, and you can it gives you the back and spine design, the source file. The source file is where you can use in like GIMP or Photoshop, and you can change stuff if you need to without having to go through her. A 3D mock-up, that's where your book looks like it's a 3D version. All right, so this is really cool. You can do this, and I kind of did it. If you look here, this morning she had 100 orders in queue, and now here it is about 3 p.m. and she has 108 orders, so she's very popular. If you notice, this is not an exaggeration. Her 4.9, she does good work. I mean, I think it looks as good as a more expensive one. Now, the one I'm looking at here, what I'm doing is the fantasy version. This is where she made the cover I'm going to show you today. This is a little expensive. If you know, the basic starts at 50. One design concept, 3D mock-up. Here's the standard, and then the premium. Now, what I do is, the reason why it costs me more, because I do all of them. And what's cool about Olivia Pro Design is I'm getting the ebook cover, I'm getting the print book cover, which is the paperback, and I paid her another extra $10, and I'm getting the print hard copy book. Now, Kindle, Amazon, Kindle direct publishing, they give you a hardcover, but it's just the hardcover itself. It doesn't have like a dust jacket. If you go through Ingram Spark, which she will design an Ingram Spark cover jacket for you, it's right here. You'll have the wraparound, dust jacket. You can do that. And I'm not sure Barnes and Noble's hard copy, if they print off the dust jacket or if they print just the book itself. I'd have to look into that. I'm not really sure. But anyway, the point is that she will do that for you. So I've got all three of those, and it costs more. It started off at $75, then I added all this stuff on it, so it ended up being around 120. That's about the price of the ebook and print book for that site I just showed you with the pre-made covers that you get to customize as you look. The only thing different between that and this is she's going to work on this, and she's doing it like Sanja does, where she's taking files and she's actually making the cover. And the pre-made, you're just getting that pre-made cover. Now you're getting the convenience of it, because if you're in a pinch and you're last minute and you need a cover, you can go to that pre-made site and you can have your cover in 10 minutes or whatever. Here it's going to take a day or two. This is 2 days delivery, and right now my book is in revision. My second book is in revision, and it's taken her a few days because there's only 5 orders in this queue, but you saw the other queue for the other books that are cheaper. Covers, she had like 108 in there. So anyway, so this is a really cool. She's actually from Ukraine. This is the one that's from Ukraine. You can talk to her. Now if you have your cover design already thought out and you have some pictures and you were trying to make your own cover or whatever, and you have some photo stock pictures, whatever, you can just give those to her and she'll make you a really cool cover out of it. Now, this one, she has some extras. I think I can click on, let me go to the overview. Let me click on, hopefully you're able to see all this stuff. I don't want to contact seller. Orders, my orders. Okay, as you can see, I've ordered from her quite a bit. The ones in revision, I just wanted to show you that when, oh, here it is. See, you can also get a social media kit for $20 extra. She'll design a bookmark for another $15, and you get a custom mock-up so that you can put it on like Facebook or Instagram or somewhere. I don't know what an animated cover is. I've not asked, but it costs $65, so I imagine it's pretty expensive. I mean, I guess it's pretty cool. I guess you put, oh, I guess that's like, if you want to put a book on your website and you want the book to open and stuff, I guess, or move around. That's probably what that is for like a website. Anyway, I don't do that one, but you can see that my book ended up being about $120, so I didn't lie. This is this $120 is including a lot of extras. It's the book cover. Now this is my second book cover from her. It's including the book cover, the meaning the ebook, the print book, and the hard copy book. And there's one other thing that I get. When you go to your book, like this one here, Crowns of Harmony or whatever, Harmony Crowns, where this is Crowns of Harmony, I think is what it is. Now, the traditional publishers, what they'll do is they have that font that's on your cover. That's your cover page font. So you have that exact same font, like the Hour of the Dragon. It would look just like this, except of course it's in black and white. It'll be on your first page. I'll go ahead and I order that from her too. I go ahead and get this part as well, so I can put on my cover page so that I have the exact font, like this red nails here. See, I would put that, I have her give me that exact font so I can put it as the first page of my book. It would also say it, and it'll be the exact same font. That's just a little professional thing that I do. I think it costs like $5 extra that I get it, but that's a good thing to have for your cover, your book, from your cover, your book, to put on the inside when you start formatting your book inside, which I can do a video on formatting if you guys want, on how I format my books to look professional. But anyway, so right now I'm kind of in love with the Fiverr version of the cover design, because you get so much out of this, and it, compared to the other ones, and it's really easy to get in touch with her. Although, just be aware, she's very super busy. Here's another. Oh, it's Fiverr. This is I guess the one I was just looking at. Anyway, she's super busy. So, she says 2 days or 3 days, and sometimes it's a little bit more than that, like it is with this latest cover. But so what I did is I took my cover, the Hoeing Path, which you see here in the background, which is right here, and I belong to this Discord website called Self-Publishing with Dale, and I went on there. They have a book cover design section in the Discord. I put this one, I didn't say what I was doing with them or anything. I just put this one, and I put my brand new cover because I'm doing the second edition that I had Livia Pro Design make. I put both covers side by side, and I said, which one do you prefer? I just kind of wanted to see. And about 10 people responded. All 10 of them picked the new cover, and none of them picked this cover. And I understand that. Now, it's not saying this cover is bad. That's not what it's saying. What it's saying is, for my genre and what I was wanting to do, I was wanting it to be traditional fantasy. And I told everybody on Discord what my fantasy was about. That was a traditional, like 80s, 90s type fantasy. It's not one of the more modern ones. This one was a little too modern. If you go on Amazon and look at it, and you look at the books in the epic fantasy genre, this fit more like in the contemporary fantasy and that kind of, section. So it's not bad, and it would work fine, except it wasn't conveying the exact thing I was wanting to convey, which is epic old school fantasy. So here we go. I'm going to reveal for you the first time Here is the cover reveal for my new branding of The Harrowing Path. So this is book one. This was done by Livia Pro Design on Fiverr. So just to show you. So anyway, so this map you see in the background behind the sword and everything, this is my actual map that I made for this land, for this epic fantasy. And so this fits a lot more in the epic fantasy, like maybe old school kind of 80s, 90s fantasy. Probably a little bit better than the other one that's behind me. So here it is. Now here's the drawback. When I had to make book two, branding a series. There's 6 books in this series, and I have them all finished. When I started having book two, she just kind of changed around the map in the background, left the sword, changed the name because the second book's called Serpent in the Mist. She wrote Serpent in the Mist here, and then changed it here and here, and then all the colors and everything was exactly the same. She changed the map around a little bit, and I was like, yeah, that's why it's in revision right now. I was like, that if I've done 6 books and they're on the shelf and they all have the exact same covers, that's not going to work very well. It'd be hard to tell them apart, even with different names. So I told her, can you change the color up a little bit? And instead of the sword, in the second book, I wanted to put like a wizard's staff, and I wanted to leave the map kind of in the background stuff. And so that's what's in revision right now. So I haven't seen it yet. So that's another cover reveal, I guess, for the second book in this series. But I've got 6 of them that I'm gonna have to have made. So but anyway, that's the new cover for the second edition. Now, what's a second edition? Well, second edition is where you changed things significantly, which I did from the first version to the second. There's several new chapters, and I went through and I changed quite a bit. So in KDP and other places you can do, Kindle Direct Publishing, you can do an updated version, which you can change. You might have found some typos and things like that in your book, and you just want to change some wording here and there. You can do an update, and it will update everybody like they have in their Kindle. It'll update everybody. In this case, since I added so much to it, I went ahead and made it into a second edition because it's significantly changed from the first edition. All of the books have been. So since I'm doing that, I went ahead and I've rebranded. I'm rebranding to fit more with that genre. So anyway, I have more to say about covers and more to say about looking for covers and how to put things together. So I'll probably do a part 2 to this at some point. I'll probably do a part 2 and then add formatting the inside of your book. I'll show you how I do that and make it look professional. The last thing you want to do, especially if you self-publish one of these books, the last thing you want to do is for them to be able to look at it, anybody to look at it and think, this is an amateur author. And that's another thing. There's a stigma with self-publishing that shouldn't be there because the gatekeeper, supposedly if you're a great author, then you'll get past the gatekeeper in like the 5 traditional publishing companies, and they'll publish your book. And okay, I've got some things I want to say about that. I'll probably put another video because this one's probably getting pretty long. But basically, that means nothing. You can have one of the best books ever, and the assistant editor that's before he even gets the editor reads it and doesn't like the first page or something, they'll toss it in the slush pile, and there it'll sit. I mean, look at all of the traditional books, like for example, Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling went to something like 10 or 20 different publishers, and they all rejected it. And she's a $1 billion author. So I bet all those other publishing companies are kicking themselves. But anyway, the point is that means nothing. If your book is good and it's professional and it's professionally edited and you got a great cover and everything, people will read it. They'll do word of mouth. They'll pick it up, and it'll get there the same as if you do a traditional publisher. Traditional publishers pay twice a year, and you get about 7 to 10% maybe if you're lucky of that book sales. When you self-publish, you get paid every month, and you get 70% of your sales. So it's probably worth looking into. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. We'll do that later on. So the next video I'm going to be doing in this series will be the adjectives and adverbs. I may do that tomorrow, or I may do that this weekend. It's not a very long video because adjectives and adverbs, there's not a lot to them. But I'll do that in the next grammar lessons series. So in the next book series, let me know what you guys want to know about the publishing or the book series stuff. I'm assuming that since we just did covers, that you're probably going to want to do formatting, book formatting. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably finish up the cover. If there's anything that I missed today, I'll probably finish that up in the cover section. And then I'll talk about formatting and getting your book ready that way. All right. Anyway, this is getting long, so I'm going to let you guys go. And thank you for watching. And if you watched all the way to the end, cool. And I will see you next time on the next video. All right. Thanks, guys.